Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So today guys, we're going to play Trash or Grab, the game where we check the golden and weak key vendors to see are the items worth grabbing or are they absolute trash. As always with this series, this is recorded on the weekend and these items do change. This is recorded on the 28th of June, 2025. For the golden vendor herself, you can find her in Cyrodiil. She's located over at the Northern High Rock Gate for DC. If you're an AD, you can find her down at the Western Elsewhere Gate. And if you're on the Ebonheart Patch, she's in the Southern Morrowind Gate. Once we finish the golden vendor, we'll check the Infinite Archive, Sicularium, and see are there any things that are worth buying or not, especially for PvP. And as always, if you like the series and want to stay up to date with it, then likes and comments are greatly appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, do subscribe, it really helps out. I also want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to the YouTube and Patreon members who do support. If you want to support myself, get access to videos early, exclusive builds and guides and much more, there's details below. For the vendor herself though, she is still in the following things. She has a range of jewellery for sale this week, starting with the Deadlands Assassin's Amulet. This is a set that when you do damage to an enemy with a heavy attack, you do a bit of damage and then a big bleed dot. The damage itself scales with weapon and spell damage. The 5-piece also has an additional 200 weapon and spell damage on top of it, so it's quite a good damage set. It used to be really good because that initial hit was very, very high. It's now been put into kind of a pseudo burst stroke dot set, and for that reason it's not as effective as it used to be. This isn't one I would rush to bet because you can buy this from other players. You can also farm it easily, so I wouldn't buy this today. I'd probably skip this. You then have another set. This is a healer set that's actually really, really good. It's a DLC set, so you can't get this factor in dungeon and stuff, which means they're normally a bit worth considering at least. And it's when you heal yourself or an ally, you grant them major evasion for 4 seconds, reducing damage from AoEs by 20%. Now this is a very, very strong buff. The major evasion basically means all AoEs do less damage, and in Cyrodiil and in PvP, that's pretty much every ultimate in the game. Almost every single ult is an AoE. You've got Dawnbreaker AoE, you've got the Templar Spear AoE, the Dragon Knight's Leap AoE, you've got Meteor AoE. There's only a few single target ults that people use like Incap, Berserker Strike, and that's kind of mainly it to be fair. So with this in mind, you reduce a lot of the burst damage, and also most burst skills are AoE themselves. Haunting Curse is AoE. You also have Blast Bones AoE, Deep Fissure AoE. So with this in mind, it's a really good buff to get, and the fact you can backbar this. It is a healer set. It is very expensive, but I would recommend considering it if you want to make a healer. I'm going to skip this personally, but it's a very, very good set to consider. We then have Essence Thief. This thing is fantastic. When you deal damage with a light or heavy attack, you basically pull some essence out of them. It's like a big green beam that goes in the sky. It heals you, it gives you stamina back, and it increases your damage by 10%, and it has a 10-second cooldown, which basically means this could have theoretically 100% uptime if you can proc it and get it straight away. It's about 80% in a fight in all honesty, maybe 70 if you're a bit slow to pick it up, but it's very, very, very good. On top of this, you can front bar it or back bar it because you only need to do a light attack. And for this reason, I would buy this. This is one of the best pieces this week, so I would definitely buy one of these. We then have Witch Knights, which is another set that when you have the 5-piece on, it increases your weapon and spell damage against people with a poison. The problem with this increased damage with people who have a poison effect on them, or these kind of effects on them, is that it doesn't get buffed by your own stats. So you end up getting a flat damage boost. And more often than not, you can get more damage by just stacking raw stats. And for that reason alone, I would just skip this. I don't think it's worth it. We have 2 monster sets. These are DLC sets, so these don't normally come, and they are shoulders. So a shoulder here, and you've got a helmet here. So although this looks like a helmet, it's actually a shoulder. And these shoulders are good because they save you having to get keys, so I always recommend shoulders more than anything else. This one is the Orphan Tactician set. So while in combat, casting an ability that leaves an effect on the ground, summons a tentacle at the target. After 2 seconds, it does a bit of damage. And then enemies that are immune to a stun will instead take physical damage and get much more. So an 8-second cooldown. It's basically Celestrix, but a bit more burst. It's decent. I wouldn't use it massively, but I'm going to buy this just to fill my sticker book. That's literally it. So we're going to 1, 2, and then we'll buy it on there. Let's go 3. So then this is our sticker book filled up. If you don't need this, don't buy it. I'm just doing it for a sticker book. You then have another set, which is the Orizen's The Inferno set. Overhealing yourself or an ally grants some armor, so 4,200 for 1.1 seconds. Healing yourself or an ally grants some minor vitality, increasing obviously their healing received. And again, this is a set that you can use. It's a healer set. It's pretty good in PvE because as a healer in PvE, you can give the tank extra armor, which is quite nice. So then they don't have to run as much armor. They can run a bit more sustain. They've got a bit more choice over their monster set potentially. So with this in mind, I would consider getting this. Like, it's more of a healer set. It's good in group play, especially like in Cyrodiil. If you just have heal stacks, this is very, very good. So I would buy this because A, it's a shoulder, saves you having to farm it, and B, it's a DLC set. It's also got some uses that are actually quite practical. So for that reason alone, I'll buy this just for the sticker book. But yeah, so that's one for the sticker book, and that's another for the sticker book. So these are on the sticker book. So the next part of this video is that we check out the other vendors. But as always, if you want to do like what I do with the channel, you want to support, there's a YouTube and there's a Patreon membership. There's details on screen, but you get exclusive access to videos, exclusive builds and stuff, and so on. There's also other stuff down there to support. And if you like what I do and want to stay up to date with the series, then likes and comments and subscribes really help. We're going to hop on over to the Infinite Archive now in Apocrypha. This is a place where you can buy leads, which are quite good. And what this means is that you'll be able to save yourself a bit of money, or a bit of time, mainly the time, for some of these archival fortunes. So with that in mind, we're going to hop over and look for the vendor. He's called Filer All. He's as far east as you can. And as I said, you do need to have access to the currency in here, so you have to do a bit of this. I always recommend keeping about 15,000 in the bank. So this week he has a few things for some leads. So you've got one for a furnishing station. You got one for another thing as well. These are like not gameplay boost, like breaking, so I'll just skip these. These are like terrible. You have a mask which isn't going to change the gameplay, and you got some scripts. You got brittle, you got empower, you got taunt, and defense's parry. In my opinion, all of these are terrible, so just skip these. Like, it's not worth it. We're hopping over now to the Scholarium as part of the Gold Road. The Scholarium is a place where you can make your scribe skills. I use them on a lot of my builds. They're very good, especially with subclassing. They give you the ability to fill in gaps you're missing, which is very useful because you can now make a much more custom build with more damage and more power. In the Scholarium, you are looking to get up the stairs, and you need to have the first wing completed, which is the Indrik. It's over here. Once this is completed, the whole vendor will appear on that character, and you can then buy the stuff. It is worth stressing that this system is coming free to every player in July under a Golden Pursuit. So if you haven't got this already, do wait until July, do the Golden Pursuit, do get it, because it's a very useful system. This week he has obviously the usual grimoires, but he's got some scripts down here that are worth considering. So the first script he has is Cowardice. This is terrible. He has Mitigation. This is useful. I use this on my 1-bar sorcerer that is coming to the channel very soon. So I can show you this here. It goes on Healing Contingency. And what I do, it's like a 12k burst deal, and it gives us this armor down here. So for that reason, this is very good. It's just resistances. You need that. You get Restore Resource, which is very good. You get this part of the just doing the normal sort of thing. So actually do the skill line, and then you go to the major guilds. You can pick this up for free anyway, so don't buy this. And then you have Growing Impact. Growing Impact is decent because you can throw it on a skill to give a buff to you and allies. So if we use our Solarium Altar, let's go up here. You'll see on some of the skills, for example, like Contingency, which is down here, you can put on like buffs. So you can put on like Heal Over Time, Snares, and what will end up happening is you can put on the Growing Impact and then put on like the regen, and you end up making this to an AoE regen that heals all the people around them, and it also gives them the debuff if they walk in or out the circle. So it's an okay script. It's not used massively in all honesty, but it's there if you want. The final place we check now is the Imperial City, and we check the Telvar vendor. This vendor sells a range of stuff. In my opinion, it's too expensive most of the time, but they can be one or two things which were there like a couple weeks back, which I would always recommend checking. Long story short, they sold leads that could be good, and one of the leads, I think it was 2 weeks ago, was the lead for the Death Dealer's Feet from Dragonstar Arena. And if you've got that mythic, you know how hard that lead is to get, and it was well worth buying it. This week we sell in some usual like jewellery. Just skip these are terrible. Like, just don't waste your money on these. You can buy them anyway from other players, and for the 90k Telvar, it is just not worth it. You then have a lead for the Snow Treaders. So Snow Treaders is quite a cool mythic. What this does, and I have it in my collections, it makes you immune to snares and immobilizers at all times, but you can't sprint. So there's like a downside to it. So you'll see up here it is. So, while in combat, you're immune to snares and immobilized, but that can be cleansed, but you can't sprint. So the last bit is obviously that can be cleansed, is like you can't put on a skill that gives you a snare like the heavy armor skill. You can't cleanse that, but any debuff you'd get can be cleansed. So with this in mind, you're just immune to like being slowed down, which is very good. You use this with a bit of speed stacking and you are like stupidly fast without being stopped. It's very, very fun. So it's quite a good set, especially in like group play. If you're playing in a group you want to keep up, this race against time, maybe a bit of swift, you're going to be quick. You're not going to be slowed down. You're always going to stay with the group. So it's quite a good mythic itself. For the lead itself, this lead is the metal carvings. It comes from random monsters in Bleak Rock Isle, so I would skip this. You can farm it easy enough. You then have another one for the Belzar's Band. This is a terrible mythic. It increases your light and heavy attacks. It only works out melee though, so with that in mind, you can't use it in PvP because there's better mythics. So I wouldn't rush to buy this. And then you have some scripts. The scripts you have this week are the Immobilizing Strike, you've got Mitigation, and you've got Lifesteal. The Mitigation you can buy already, so just save money. You can get this for gold, like it's cheaper. The Immobilize you're not really going to use massively other than a tank. So yeah, and also it's very, very expensive. 18,000 Telvar is insane. And these are normally more expensive if you don't know them already. Like you can see this is 45,000, so this will be way more than usual. But that is the week, guys. It's a bit of a mixed week. There's one or two things that are decent, especially that Essence Thief, but the rest of it I would probably just skip. And that's what this series is about, is helping to find out what is trash and what you should grab. As always, likes and comments are greatly appreciated. And if you want to stay up to date with the channel, then do subscribe. I want to say a massive thank you to the YouTube and Patreon members who support the content. If you want to do that, get access to videos early, exclusive builds and guides and more, there's details down below. But as always, I'll catch you next video or stream. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. And bye.